So starting the test drive in this Gracale Modena, it's a pretty quick car. I like how they did the mild hybrid system, just having that here. Love having the paddle shifters as well. But the graphics here are very nice, just showing the effectiveness of having help from that mild hybrid battery, and then also just the regenerative braking, things of that nature, all of that showing how you can recharge what you have. But this thing isn't meant to make it necessarily more fuel efficient. It's mostly there for maximum power output. That's how you get that extra 29 horsepower, because you have the help from the electric motor there. But you do get these 3 drive modes, which are pretty different. Now the comfort mode, the ride quality is there, but it feels more like an eco mode in terms of just how it drives. Now I do like that you can still use the paddle shifters in the comfort mode, so you won't get the full-on power, but you will be able to control it with the paddle shifters, throttle response, things of that nature. It's just not gonna feel as quick as when you're in your GT or your sport mode. Now the GT is pretty much right in the middle there, and the sport mode is gonna be maximum throttle output, and you're getting your full horses there. So I'm gonna leave it in the sport mode for now, and I'm just gonna see how it does as I come out of this corner that's coming up. But in typical Maserati fashion, what makes this, I think, a coveted vehicle is just what you get when you're sitting behind the wheel of the cockpit. You have this nice crown here, the Maserati logo, buttons everywhere, just a weird screen. But it's something that's different. It's something that looks cool. It's something that feels cool. But like a lot of other Maseratis, it does have its quirks in terms of the screen not being as quick as I'd want it to be, having the buttons in just weird places. But you still get that performance that you'd expect from a Maserati. These shifts are very harsh. Put in the first here. Now I love the exhaust sound, and I love how quick this thing gets up to speed. With it being a 2-liter turbo 4, you'd expect it to be quick, but not as quick as this one is right now. It's pretty impressive. I'm gonna put it back into just the regular drive mode now, but I'm gonna leave it in sport mode. And then when we get on the interstate, I'm gonna put it into that GT drive mode. But yeah, very exhilarating. Even though it's not necessarily super fast, the exhaust certainly helps. It just sounds menacing. And it makes you feel like you're going faster than you really are, which is okay with me. Now you can always activate the paddles whenever. You just won't get that full-on manual mode like you get when you actually put it into manual mode. And you can just turn off the paddle shifters by just holding on to that plus paddle there. Actually, I'm gonna put it into the GT mode, and we're gonna see how the exhaust sounds when I put my foot into it. So you don't get that full-on cackle that you get with the sport mode, but you do get pretty good power along with a pretty good ride and less of a jolt from the transmission, if that makes sense. Doesn't feel as harsh. But I really like the sport mode. Now with the sport suspension, it does stiffen up quite a bit. And I think that's a good thing, because that's kind of what I want when I put my vehicle into sport mode. But if you want a better riding vehicle with acceleration, I would suggest going full on GT as opposed to switching between comfort and sport. Now me, I'd leave this in sport all day because I don't mind a harsher ride, and I actually appreciate the sound you get from that exhaust. Let's see if I can test out the driving system. So here we have the lane centering, adaptive cruise here. Pretty decent system, in my opinion. And I like that it's a full-on lane centering and adaptive cruise. It's not necessarily like a Blue Cruise or a Super Cruise where all of a sudden it deactivates as you get off the interstate. Because I don't want something that I'm necessarily not gonna be watching. I like these systems because if stuff starts getting a little wonky, I should be paying attention anyway. So I appreciate that. But I think for the money, especially now with this one being around $66,000, I think it's not a bad price. In the sense that you have a Maserati, that's basically what you expect to pay. You expect to pay a premium for vehicles like these because they have their quirks. I mean, this sound system is phenomenal. The driving experience, especially in sport mode, is great. And this does feel like a true Maserati. And I wasn't expecting that from this vehicle, but it really does feel like a Maserati. Very quick, very advanced, I think. And it's just, it's fun to drive, it really is. But big shout out to Auto Pro of Nashville for allowing me to review this car today. And this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2023 Maserati Gracale Modena.